Do-hyun Kim stared at his computer screen until his eyes burned. It was past midnight in the small Seoul office of the Deep Space Communication Initiative, and he was the only one still working. Rain tapped against the windows as he scrolled through years of signal data. Most people would have gone home hours ago, but Do-hyun wasn't most people. There has to be something here, he muttered, taking another sip of cold coffee. The DSCI was small and underfunded. Most of Earth's space money went to the Mars colonies or the moon bases. Few cared about listening to deep space anymore. But Do-hyun cared. He had always cared. His computer beeped as the search program finished running. Do-hyun leaned forward, squinting at the results. The program had found a pattern, a repeating signal that appeared every 47 days for the past $50 years. His heart beat faster. "That's impossible," he whispered. He picked up his phone and called his boss, not caring about the late hour. "Jiwoo, it's Do-hyun. I found something you need to see. Now." Jiwoo Park was not happy to be at the office at 1:30 in the morning, but her anger faded as she looked at Do-hyun's screen. "You're telling me these signals have been coming in since 2037? That's 50 years, Do-hyun." "I know," he said, pointing to the screen. "They were automatically filed in the old SETI database. No one ever checked them because they didn't match what we thought alien signals would look like." Jiwoo rubbed her tired eyes. "And you think they're artificial? Not just space noise?" "Look at the pattern," Do-hyun said, showing her a chart. "Natural signals don't repeat this precisely. Something intelligent is sending these." Jiwoo was quiet for a long moment. "If you're right, this could be the biggest discovery in human history." She sighed. "And if you're wrong, we'll both look like fools. How sure are you?" Do-hyun looked her in the eyes. "I'm sure enough to stake my career on it." "Fine. I'll get you access to the old systems and some help. But this stays quiet until we know more." 3 days later, Hanbin Lee arrived at the DSCI office. The 65-year-old linguist had gray hair and kind eyes behind round glasses. He had spent his life studying how languages worked and how people might talk to aliens. "So," Hanbin said after Do-hyun showed him the signals, "you think you found aliens in our junk folder?" Do-hyun nodded. "Can you help us understand what they're saying?" Hanbin studied the data for hours without speaking. Finally, he looked up. "This is no random signal. It's structured like a language, extremely complex but definitely artificial. Someone has been trying to talk to Earth for 50 years. He pointed to the screen. "And they've been using a standardized format that matches theories about how a universal communication method might work." "Can you decode it?" Jiwoo asked. Hanbin shook his head. "Not alone. I'll need computers, linguists, mathematicians. This is a completely alien form of communication." "You'll have whatever you need," Jiwoo said, her skepticism gone. A month passed. The DSCI office transformed from a quiet, forgotten department to a buzzing hive of activity. 20 experts now worked around the clock to decode the alien messages. The Korean government had quietly provided funding after Jiwoo showed them the preliminary findings. Do-hyun hadn't gone home in days. He slept on an office couch when exhaustion forced him to rest. Hanbin worked just as hard, leading the team, trying to understand the alien language. "We've made progress," Hanbin told Do-hyun and Jiwoo during their morning meeting. "The oldest message appears to be some kind of automated greeting, a welcome to the galactic community." "A welcome message?" Jiwoo asked. Hanbin nodded. "It starts with mathematical sequences that establish a common language, then moves to what we think are basic greeting protocols. It's like they have a standard way to welcome new civilizations that discover faster-than-light communication. And we missed it," Do-hyun said, feeling sick. "For 50 years. The later messages are more complex," Hanbin continued. "They become increasingly urgent over time. The most recent ones have a completely different structure, more direct, less formal." "How many messages are there?" Jiwoo asked. "Over 600, Hanbin said. One every 47 days like clockwork." Do-hyun's phone rang, interrupting them. It was one of the younger linguists. "You need to come see this," she said, her voice shaking. We decoded one of the recent messages. The team gathered around a large screen where a young linguist named Yuna stood nervously. We focused on the most recent messages since they use simpler structures, she explained. The computer model we built can now translate parts of them with about 70% confidence. She pressed a button and text appeared on the screen. Warning, Earth, acknowledge immediately. Devastation approaching your sector. 49 planetary systems have fallen. You are next in their path. The room fell silent. When was this sent? Ji-woo asked quietly. 3 weeks ago, Yuna replied. Hanbin studied the screen. The language is clear and direct. This isn't a complex cultural exchange, it's a warning meant to be understood quickly. Could it be a mistake? Ji-woo asked. Or some kind of test? Look at the earlier messages, Do-hyun said, pulling up translations of older signals. They start polite, then confused, then concerned, and finally desperate, like someone trying harder and harder to get our attention. He pointed to another partially translated message from 2 years ago. Earth species, urgent communication required. Galactic Council emergency protocol activated. Please respond. They've been trying to warn us for years, Hanbin said, and we never answered because we didn't check the right inbox. Ji-woo stood up straight, suddenly looking very official. I need to contact the president immediately. This goes beyond our department now. As she left the room, Do-hyun turned to Hanbin. Can we send a message back using their format? Hanbin nodded slowly. I think so. It won't be perfect, but they should understand it. What should we say? Asked Yuna. Do-hyun looked at the screen with the warning message. We tell them we're finally listening and we need their help. 3 days later, Do-hyun sat at his computer, hardly believing what was happening. The president herself had taken over a military base outside Seoul for the new First Contact Office. Experts from around the world were flying in. And he, Do-hyun Kim, was about to send humanity's first message to alien life. The message was simple. Galactic Council, Earth acknowledges. We apologize for delay. Our technology was incompatible. We require information about threat. We are preparing. Hanbin stood beside him. That should get their attention. Do you think they'll answer? Do-hyun asked. They've been trying to talk to us for 50 years, Hanbin said. I think they'll be relieved we finally picked up the phone. Do-hyun took a deep breath and pressed the send button. A weight he hadn't noticed lifted from his shoulders. For the first time in weeks, he smiled. Now we wait, he said. Hanbin shook his head. No, now we prepare. Because whatever is coming, it's already on its way. Outside the window, rain had given way to clear skies. Do-hyun looked up at the stars, wondering which one had been trying to warn Earth all this time. And what kind of danger was heading their way? Taejin Choi had never expected to become Earth's first ambassador to alien life. 2 weeks ago, he had been a quiet diplomat, working on trade deals with other countries. Now he stood in a room filled with screens showing creatures he could barely describe. Ambassador Choi, we welcome Earth to the Galactic Council, said a blue-skinned being with 4 eyes. Its voice came through a translator that the aliens had helped Earth build. We regret meeting under such grave circumstances. Taejin bowed slightly. He had practiced this meeting for days, but nothing could prepare him for the reality of talking to beings from other worlds. The people of Earth thank you for your patience, he said. We apologize for not responding to your messages sooner. Time is short, said another alien, this one looking like a tall insect with shimmering wings. The Devourers have already destroyed 49 planetary systems in your sector. Your solar system is next. Taejin felt cold fear in his stomach but kept his face calm. We need to understand this threat. Who are these Devourers? The aliens? Shared looks that even Taejin could tell were grim. They are the nightmare of our galaxy, said the 4-eyed alien. They consume all life and resources from each world they touch. We have fought them for 3 centuries, but they keep advancing. In a room next door, Seo-jun Kang watched the meeting with narrow eyes. As Earth's top military strategist, he had been chosen to assess the alien threat. What he heard made his blood run cold. "Can you show us how they attack?" he asked through the communication system. The screens changed to show massive ships tearing apart planets. The aliens explained how the Devourers stripped worlds of all valuable materials and killed any species that resisted. "How many ships do they have?" Seo-jun asked. "Over 10,000 in the fleet approaching your system," replied an alien that looked like a floating jellyfish. "They will arrive in approximately 8 of your months." Seo-jun wrote notes quickly. "And how have you fought them?" "Most species in the galaxy evolved toward cooperation," explained the jellyfish alien. "We developed defensive technologies, but lack the aggressive thinking needed for effective warfare." "You're saying you're too peaceful to fight properly," Seo-jun said bluntly. The alien was quiet for a moment. "Yes, that is accurate." In another part of the building, Yoon worked with alien linguists to improve communication. As Earth's leading xenolinguistics expert, she had learned more in 2 weeks than in her entire career. "I don't understand," she said to a small, furry alien with large eyes. "If most galactic species are peaceful, why did you contact Earth? We're not exactly known for peace." The alien's fur rippled in what Yoonji had learned was a sign of discomfort. "There are stories," the alien said carefully, "about warrior races. Species that evolved with strong aggressive instincts but managed to develop technology without destroying themselves. Like humans," Yoonji said. "Yes. Ancient records mentioned Earth as a potential warrior world. The Council has been monitoring your broadcasts for centuries. Your history is concerning but also promising." Yoonji frowned. "Promising how?" "You fight wars but also create peace. You compete but also cooperate. Most importantly, your species thinks about conflict in ways we cannot." The alien leaned closer. "We need that thinking now." 3 days later, Taejin, Seo-jun, and Yoonji attended a special council meeting. A massive hologram showed the galaxy with a red path cutting through it, the Devourer's destruction trail. "We have shared all our defensive technology with Earth," said the council leader, a tall being with silvery skin. "But technology alone will not save you. The Devourers adapt quickly." "What about attacking them first?" Seo-jun asked. "Before they reach our system?" The council members looked surprised. The leader spoke after a pause. "We have never considered a preemptive strike. It goes against our principles." "With respect," Seo-jun said, "principles won't save lives if the Devourers destroy Earth." Taejin stepped forward. "What my colleague means is that humans think differently about defense. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense." A murmur spread through the alien representatives. Some looked horrified, others intrigued. "This is why we contacted Earth," said an older alien with wrinkled gray skin. "We need your warrior thinking." "There is something else you should know," said the council leader. "We believe the Devourers target worlds with specific resources. Earth has an unusual abundance of liquid water and biodiversity, things they value highly." Taejin felt his heart sink. "So they won't just pass by. They want Earth specifically." "Yes. You have 8 months to prepare. We will help however we can." Later that night, Taejin sat with Seo-jun and Yoonji in their temporary quarters, going over what they had learned. "They've been fighting for 300 years and losing," Seo-jun said, looking at reports. "Their weapons are advanced, but their tactics are terrible." "It's not their fault," Yoonji said. "They evolved differently. Most species out there developed cooperation as their main survival strategy. Humans developed both cooperation and competition." Taejin nodded. "And now they need our competitive side, our ability to think like predators." "We need to get this information back to Earth immediately," Seo-jun said. "The president needs to know what we're up against." "There's something else bothering me," Yoonji said quietly. "The aliens are sharing technology with us, but they seem afraid." "Of course they're afraid," Seo-jun said. "The Devourers are coming." "No," she shook her head. "They're afraid of us. I see it in how they move when humans suggest aggressive tactics. They need our help but worry about what we might become." Taejin looked out at the stars through a window. "They should be worried. If Earth is threatened, humans will do whatever it takes to survive. 2 weeks later, Tae-jin stood before the United Nations on Earth. Every country had sent representatives to hear about the alien threat. The room was silent as he finished explaining what they faced. The Galactic Council has provided us with advanced technology, he said, but they can't provide the will to fight. That must come from us. 8 months is not much time, said the Secretary General. Can we really prepare for such an attack? SEO Jun stepped forward. We have to. The Council species have been fighting defensively for centuries and losing. We need to change the approach. Are you suggesting Earth, just one planet, can succeed where an entire galactic civilization has failed? Asked the Chinese representative. Yes, Seo Jun said simply. Because we think differently. We understand something they don't. How to be aggressive when needed. Murmurs filled the room. The Council contacted Earth specifically because of our history, Yoonji added. They have records of our broadcasts. They've watched our wars, our sports, even our movies. They know we understand conflict in ways they don't. Tae-jin raised his hand for quiet. The simple truth is this. Earth has 8 months to prepare for an enemy that has destroyed 49 worlds. But we have one advantage those worlds didn't have. Which is? Asked the American president. None of those worlds were home to humans, Tae-jin said. And humans have something special. We've been fighting and winning against the odds for our entire history. The room was quiet again, but this time with determination rather than fear. The Devourers have never faced humans before, Tae-jin continued. They don't know what we're capable of when threatened. It's time we show them. As he finished speaking, Tae-jin thought about the message that had started all this, a simple warning that sat unread for 50 years. Earth had finally checked its inbox, and now the real work would begin. Min Ho-yu had been retired for 5 years when the call came. At 62, he had expected to spend his remaining years fishing and playing with his grandchildren. Now he stood in the newly created United Defense Command Center beneath Seoul, looking at screens showing Earth's defenses. General Yu, we need an update for the president, said a young officer. Min-ho nodded. Tell her we've made progress. The orbital platforms around Earth are 60% complete. Mars manufacturing is ahead of schedule, but we need more time. We only have 5 months left, sir. I'm aware of that, Min-ho said quietly. He was always aware of it. The countdown timer on the main screen reminded everyone constantly how long until the Devourers would reach their solar system. The door opened, and Jae-young Hwang walked in. The weapons engineer looked tired but excited. General, we've tested the new hybrid missiles. They work better than expected. Min-ho smiled for the first time that day. Show me. In a secure room, Jae-young played video from a test in deep space. A target ship built with Devourer technology from the aliens' data was hit by a missile. The explosion was unusual. It seemed to spread like a liquid covering the entire ship. What am I looking at? Min-ho asked. We combined our nuclear technology with the alien energy fields, Jae-young explained. But we modified it. Instead of using their defensive approach, we made it offensive. And it works? Better than their pure technology. The alien advisors were surprised. Min-ho understood what that meant. The peaceful aliens were shocked by how quickly humans had turned their defensive technology into weapons. How many can we make before they arrive? Jae-young looked at her tablet. With the Mars factories, about 15,000. Make 20,000, Min-ho said, and keep developing the other projects. Ye-jun Chung stepped into the United Nations building in New York. As Earth's chief diplomat during the crisis, he had been working non-stop to keep Earth's nations unified. Ambassador Chung, Russia is demanding more defense platforms over their territory, an aide told him as they walked quickly down a hallway. Tell them all defense is global defense, Ye-jun replied. The Devourers don't care about national borders. China is also insisting on having their own military leadership in the command structure. Ye-jun stopped walking. We don't have time for this. The Devourers will be here in 5 months. Tell them I'll meet with their representative today. He entered the main meeting room where leaders from every major nation waited. Their faces showed fear, determination, and hope in equal measure. "Ladies and gentlemen," Yejun began, "I have updates from General Yu. Our weapons development is ahead of schedule. The Mars colony has converted all manufacturing to defense production. The moon bases are now serving as early warning stations." "What about the alien technology?" asked the Russian president. "We've adapted it to our needs," Yejun said carefully. "Our engineers found ways to improve it." This was an understatement. Human engineers had taken alien technology and reimagined it in ways the peaceful aliens never considered. The aliens were both impressed and disturbed by how quickly humans turned science toward warfare. "And the unified command structure?" asked China's leader. "General Yu leads the military response," Yejun said firmly. "All nations have representatives in the command center, but we need a single leadership. The aliens are amazed we've united at all, given our history." This was true. The aliens had studied human history and expected Earth's nations to fight among themselves even with extinction looming. Instead, facing a common threat, humans had united surprisingly quickly. "We are making progress," Yejun continued, "but we must stay unified. The Devourers don't distinguish between our countries. All humans look the same to them. And all humans taste the same too." The room fell silent at this grim reminder of what they faced. In orbit around Jupiter, Minho watched through a viewport as huge defense platforms were constructed. Earth's first true space fleet was taking shape, ships built with a mix of human creativity and alien technology. "Impressive, isn't it?" asked an alien advisor standing beside him. The being was tall and thin with purple skin that glowed faintly. "It won't be enough," Minho said honestly. "Perhaps not," the alien agreed. "But it is more than any other world managed to build in such a short time." Minho looked at the alien. "Your people have been fighting the Devourers for centuries. Why, didn't you build fleets like this?" The alien's skin dimmed slightly, a sign of sadness. "We lack something you humans have in abundance." "Technology? No. The will to strike first. The ability to think like predators." The alien gestured to the ships. "We built defensive systems but never attack fleets." Minho nodded slowly. "That's why you contacted Earth. You needed predators." "Yes," the alien admitted. "Though many on the council feared what would happen if we succeeded. If humans save the galaxy, you're afraid we'll take over." Minho finished. The alien didn't deny it. In the Mars colony, Jae Young supervised the final tests of the new weapon system. The dome-shaped building housed the largest engineering project in human history, a device that could target Devourer ships across vast distances. "System check complete," reported a technician. "All functions normal." Jae Young nodded. "Begin the test sequence." On screens around the room, they watched as the weapon locked onto a target past Neptune's orbit, a small asteroid serving as a stand-in for a Devourer ship. The weapon fired. There was no beam of light, no obvious projectile. But on the screens, they watched the asteroid shatter into pieces. The room erupted in cheers. Jae Young allowed herself a small smile. The weapon worked by creating a localized disruption in space itself, technology based on alien science but reimagined by human military thinking. An alien observer stood silently in the corner, its face unreadable as it watched humans celebrate their new weapon. 4 months before the Devourers were scheduled to arrive, Earth's long-range sensors detected movement at the edge of the solar system. Minho was in the command center when the alert came through. "What are we seeing?" he asked. "Scout ships, sir," replied an officer. 3 Devourer vessels just entered the system. They're small, probably reconnaissance. Minho stared at the screen. "They're early." The alien advisor looked alarmed. "This is unusual. They normally send the main fleet first," Minho thought quickly. The defense system wasn't fully ready. The fleet was still being built. But here was an opportunity. "Get me the President and the Security Council," he said. "I have a proposal." When the world leaders appeared on the screens, Minho spoke clearly and confidently. The Devourers have sent scout ships into our system earlier than expected. I propose we don't wait for them to report back. I propose we attack first. Attack? The alien advisor looked shocked. These are just scouts. The main fleet is still months away. Exactly, Minho said. They don't expect us to be aggressive. Every species they've encountered has waited in fear. We should show them something different. After a brief discussion, the world leaders agreed. For the first time in human history, Earth would launch a united military action, not against other humans, but against an alien threat. Minho gave the order. Launch the Jupiter fleet. Target the scout ships. Let's show the Devourers what happens when they threaten Earth. As the ships moved into position, Minho wondered if the Devourers had any concept of what they had awakened by threatening humanity. They were about to find out. Captain Dae Hyun-shin stood on the bridge of the ESS Defender, Earth's first true battleship. Through the main viewport, he watched as his fleet of 20 ships approached the 3 Devourer scout vessels. His hands were steady, but his heart beat fast. This would be humanity's first battle against an alien enemy. All weapons locked on targets, reported his weapons officer. Ships are in formation. Dae-hyun nodded. Send the message we prepared. On all channels in formats the aliens would understand, they broadcast, "Attention Devourer vessels. You have entered Earth territory uninvited. Retreat immediately or be destroyed." The response came quickly, a series of harsh sounds that the ship's computer translated. "We claim this system for harvesting. Surrender and your deaths will be quick." Dae-hyun smiled grimly. They don't know who they're dealing with. All ships, execute attack pattern Alpha. Fire when ready. The human fleet suddenly split into 3 groups, each targeting one scout ship from different angles. This was a classic pincer movement. Simple for humans, but apparently surprising to the Devourers, who seemed confused by the coordinated attack. The first volley of hybrid missiles streaked across space. The Devourer ships tried to evade, but were caught off guard by the speed and precision of the human attack. 2 ships were hit directly. The third managed to avoid the first wave of missiles, but flew straight into the second wave. All 3 scout ships exploded in brilliant flashes of light. Dae-hyun expected to feel triumph, but instead felt only grim determination. Confirm all targets destroyed, then set course back to Jupiter base. "Sir," said his communications officer, "the alien advisors are requesting to speak with you." On the screen appeared the purple-skinned alien who had been working with General Minho. Its eyes were wide with what Dae-hyun recognized as shock. "You destroyed them," the alien said. "All of them, so quickly." "That was the plan," Dae-hyun replied. "You don't understand," the alien said. "No species has ever attacked Devourer ships first, and certainly not with such effectiveness." Dae-hyun understood then. The peaceful species of the galaxy weren't just technically unable to fight well. They were psychologically unprepared for aggressive warfare. "Well," he said, "the Devourers better get used to it, because humans fight back." In the main strategy room at Earth Defense Command, Ha-Yun Kim studied recordings of the battle. As the lead military strategist, she was looking for weaknesses in Devourer tactics. "Play it again," she told her team. "Focus on how the third ship reacted when the first 2 were hit." The holographic display showed the battle once more. Ha-Un watched carefully as the third Devourer ship made a desperate attempt to escape. "There," she said, freezing the image. "See how it turns? It's not trying to fight, it's trying to run. These scouts had no plan for being attacked." An alien advisor named Teln watched with her. "The Devourers have always been the aggressors," it explained. "They attack worlds that can only defend themselves. They've never faced a species that attacks them first." Ha-Un thought about this. "So their tactics are all based on attacking weaker enemies. They don't know how to handle aggression against themselves." "Precisely," said Tellan. "But they learn quickly. The main fleet will adapt." "Then we need to be unpredictable," Ha-Yun said. She turned to her team. "I want new attack patterns designed, things no one would expect. Look at human history. Guerrilla warfare, ambushes, feint, psychological warfare. The Devourers have never seen these tactics in space combat. Teln looked confused. Psychological warfare? Against Devourers? Every thinking being has psychology, Ha-Yun said firmly, and psychology can be used against them. At a research facility in Australia, Sung-Min Park made an important discovery. As a biologist working with alien scientists, he had been studying the limited samples of Devourer biology provided by the Galactic Council. "Look at this," he told his team, pointing to a display showing Devourer cellular structure. "Their digestive system is highly specialized." "What does that mean?" asked a colleague. "It means they've evolved to process specific types of biomatter," Sungmin explained. "They don't just eat anything, they need certain compounds found in specific life forms." He pulled up another display showing Earth's biosphere. "And Earth is full of what they want. Our planet is a buffet for them." One of the alien scientists made a soft clicking sound, its species' version of understanding. "This explains why they target certain worlds and not others. But it also gives us a weapon," Sungmin said. "If their biology is so specialized, it's also vulnerable. We can develop compounds that would be toxic specifically to their digestive systems." "A biological countermeasure?" The alien looked alarmed. "Not a disease," Sungmin clarified, "an engineered compound that would make Earth's biomass indigestible to them. If they can't eat what they conquer, they have no reason to attack," finished the alien. "Ingenious. And terrible." 3 weeks later, Earth detected the main Devourer fleet entering the solar system. It was massive, thousands of ships moving toward Earth like a swarm of hungry insects. In the command center, General Min Ho addressed the defenders. "The moment we prepared for has arrived. The Devourers expect us to hide behind our defenses and wait for them. Instead, we will take the fight to them." The plan was bold. While Earth's defensive platforms would protect the planet, the main human fleet would launch a surprise attack against the Devourer command ships, and Captain Dae-hyun would lead a small team on an even more daring mission. Aboard a small stealth ship designed with the latest alien technology and human ingenuity, Dae-hyun and his team approached the massive Devourer mothership. "This is insane," whispered one of his team members. "The best plans usually are," Dae-hyun replied with a smile. Their mission was simple, but extremely dangerous. Infiltrate the Devourer mothership and deploy Sungmin's biological compound directly into their food processing systems. If it worked, the entire Devourer fleet would suddenly find Earth's biosphere worthless to them. The alien advisors had called the plan suicidal. No species in the galaxy would attempt such a high-risk mission. But that was exactly why it might work. The Devourers would never expect it. "Approaching target," reported the pilot. "No signs they've detected us." Dae-hyun checked his equipment one last time. "Remember, we only need 10 minutes inside to plant the compound. Then we get out." As they prepared to dock with the massive alien ship, Dae-hyun thought about Earth, about his family, about all the people depending on this mission. The Devourers had consumed 49 worlds before reaching Earth. But they had never faced humans before. The battle for Earth raged across the solar system. Human ships darted between Devourer vessels, using tactics no alien species had ever tried in space. Ambushes near Jupiter's moons, feint attacks that led Devourers into traps, psychological warfare broadcast on their own communication channels. The Devourers were confused. For centuries, they had attacked worlds that could only defend themselves. Now they faced a species that not only fought back, but attacked in ways they didn't understand. Inside the Devourer mothership, Dae-hyun's team moved quickly through alien corridors. They lost 2 members to Devourer guards, but reached their target, the Central Food Processing System. "Deploy the compound," Dae-hyun ordered. As the biological agent spread through the mothership's systems, alarms began to sound. The team fought their way back to their ship, barely escaping as the mothership began to change course. 1 month later, Earth's leaders gathered in Seoul where the whole story had begun. With them were representatives from the Galactic Council, the Devourers have retreated from our system, General Minho reported. Sungmin's compound worked. They realized Earth's biomass would be poisonous to them. And the Galactic Council reports they're pulling back from other systems too, added Ye-jun. They're seeking worlds without our compound. The council leader, the tall silvery being, stood to address the humans. In all our history, no species has defeated the Devourers so completely. The galaxy owes Earth a debt we cannot repay. Tai Jin, now officially Earth's ambassador to the galaxy, smiled politely. We're happy to have helped, and we're ready to share our defensive knowledge with the council. Defensive knowledge, yes, said the alien. But we are concerned about some of your methods. You mean our willingness to fight, Minho said bluntly. Yes, admitted the alien. You saved us, but your capacity for warfare is disturbing. Do-hyun Kim, who had discovered the alien messages months ago, spoke up from his seat nearby. Humanity evolved as predators who learned to cooperate. We can be peaceful or warlike as needed. That's our strength. The alien nodded slowly. And now the galaxy knows it. A species that answers its messages, ready for both peace and war. As the meeting continued, messages from across the galaxy appeared on the screens around them. Thousands of alien civilizations reaching out to Earth, some offering thanks, others seeking protection, all recognizing that humans were now a major power in the galaxy. Earth had finally checked its inbox, and the galaxy would never be the same again.